Danny over here. Hello everyone. For today's video, we are going to talk about the 5 scientists and their contribution in the cell theory. But before that, let me introduce to you first the 3 highly accepted theories in modern cell theory. The first one is, all living organisms are made out of cell. Yes, you heard it right. You are made out of cell. The second one is that all cells arise from pre-existing cells. And lastly, cell is the basic unit of life. Now, let's move on to the scientists and their contribution in the cell theory. The first scientist who contributed in the cell theory is Robert Hooke. Hooke was one of the first scientists to study living things under a microscope. He examined a thin slice of cork and was surprised to see what looked like a honeycomb. Hooke named the tiny units he saw as cells because they reminded him of the small rooms or cellula that monks live in. Hooke published his observation in his 1665 book called Micrographia, which was the first book to describe observations made through a microscope. Hooke's discovery led to the understanding of cells as the smallest units of life. Now, let's proceed to the second scientist who contributed in the cell theory. His name is Anton van Leeuwenhoek. Anton van Leeuwenhoek is another scientist who saw these cells soon after Robert Hooke did. He made use of microscope containing improved lenses that could magnify objects almost 300-fold under the microscope. Leeuwenhoek found motile objects in a letter to the Royal Society on October 9, 1697. He stated that motility is a quality of life. Therefore, these motile objects were living organisms. Leeuwenhoek named these animal cues. He is also the father of microbiology. The third scientist who contributed in the cell theory is Theodor Schwann. Theodor Schwann concluded 3 things that became vital components of the cell theory. First, Schwann concluded that both plants and animals were composed of cells. Second, these cells have independent lives. Third, these independent lives are subject to the organism's life. Rudolf Virchow is the 4th scientist who contributed in the cell theory. While studying cells under a microscope, Virchow observed cells dividing and forming new cells, which led him into the conclusion that cells came from pre-existing cells. Virchow's work laid the groundwork for modern cellular pathology and became a fundamental concept for cell theory. And lastly, Matthias Schleiden. Schleiden observed that plants are made up of cells, and that lower plants are made up of one cell, while higher plants are made up of many cells. Schleiden, together with Schwann, proposed that life is made from cells and that cells are the basic structural component of life. And that's how the 3 highly accepted theories in modern cell theories were formed. Again, this is Danny reminding you all to spread love and kindness. See you all in